And heavy-use vehicles, like the one I own, would be coming up the hill from Goshen and bearing right just before the entrance. And definitely, I can state categorically, would not be able to stop. The car traffic on Route 207 is fast. The state could post all the changes to the road that it wanted, but the fact would always remain, and the reality would be, that cars speed on Route 207. It was made at a time where roads weren't always thought of, of the best of planning. And to answer somebody else's question, I think Mr. Chain, every road was built in 1933, and the whole thing is built on wetlands, and it's not exactly made for high traffic. In fact, with 200 plus cars being driven by what I would call seasoned citizens, I would imagine Timber Trail or the state would seek a traffic light at the Route 207 entrance. The question is, what is more dangerous? No light, or the illusion of safety with a light on Route 207? The board should also consider the impact of many additional cars into Goshen at peak hours. I've been informed by, previous to the gentleman who stated this already, I believe the engineer, that only one person has to be of the age of 55, which means you're going to have a lot more additional people going to work at peak hours. And I mean, traffic between 7 and 9 o'clock can be backed right up to Salesian School, or sometimes even Victoria Terrace. So, I mean, this is basically untenable, and there's not anything you can do with Route 207 to widen it in any way. Don't crap where you eat. It's an adage worth living by. Unfortunately, Timber Trail does not seem to mind 400 Timber Trail residents crapping in my front yard where I eat. Having said that, I would like to conclude by saying the effluent discharge pipe that would empty into my on-again, off-again, let's say part-time creek, Timber Trail would be pleased to send a minimum of effluent of wastewater of 400 plus people, including household chemicals, directly past my house to my neighbors. 400 people, at least. Every flush, shower, chemical. Timber Trail would surely retort that it is treated effluent, but just the same, it is waste. Waste is treated, but just the same waste, not clean water. The aforementioned part-time stream is just that, which means the totality of all the flow past my house in hot summer months would be the upstream waste of 400 Timber Trail residents. Surely, absolutely and surely, there will be bubbles, foam, and of course the proverbial odor. Goes without saying. Should be a boom for all the property values of the downstream residents. The fabric of the area is single-family homes in a country style and setting. Always has been, always should be. Nobody here showed up to be, central planners in a socialistic, authoritarian view. We just want what is reasonable. And this isn't even reasonable. I basically feel that this map right here is a straw man. This thing was set up here with 200 units. They don't even plan to. They'd take it if they could get it, but they just want to jam as much through as in one shot to see just how much this straw man right here is willing to garner them. The buyers of the Vis property knew what they were buying when they bought it. Ground with a high water table surrounded by wetlands. This is not the proverbial hard luck story where the darn town screwed us and changed the zoning and they ruined everything. The denial of the Timber Trail project is not arbitrary or would be authoritarian. It would just be common sense, gentlemen. And it would just be a little bit of looking out for the next guy. And thanks a lot.
Right. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Regina Leon, and I live on 32 Everett Road. And obviously, I am against this project. Every year when the winter thaw and spring rains arrive, we have flooding on our property. There were times in the past when the water in the streams was so high that our bridge was washed out. At various times, the town decided they should put in larger culvert pipes between White Oak Terrace and the Gospel House, who was the gentleman that just spoke. And this dumps more water at a rapid pace into our streams, so the flooding was worse. We wound up having to dig our stream out so that some of the dirt was not there to lower the water, and that happened to help, but the town could not do anything to help. They said it was only a facility. The water runs too high, and not too long ago, the Dostler property was underwater, and Everett Road itself was closed because the road was completely washed out, and it had to be rebuilt. And I do have pictures to back up some of this, and I have copies I can give to you gentlemen to look at. The town also put in a new culvert pipe to handle runoff on the other side of Everett Road by Shale Lane. Even more water was sent on my property, flooding the right side and making roaring rapids occur where the water flow is. Unfortunately, our neighbors to our right, going towards Hill Road, the arms, continue to be flooded out. Every time there's a lot of rain, the water doesn't just wash over their bridge, as it did in the past with our bridge. It's underwater, along with a large portion of their property. This is happening with just heavy storms and rain. What do you think is going to happen when the waste and water from 160 plus, which I now found out is more like 200 homes, is dumped into our streams? The water will be much higher on a steady basis, which means that not only will the Dostler and Orange families be flooded, but the water level will be higher in the stream on my property. There's a very good chance that my well, which is only about 50 feet deep and located maybe 20 feet from the stream that floods, will be contaminated, or it could even run dry if all this water is pulled for these community homes. Who knows how our water is going to be affected in our well? Who's going to be responsible if my well gets contaminated? I do have pictures to show the flooding, shows family and friends ice skating on frozen streams. The higher water levels are going to be a major concern. And what about the wildlife? If the sewage, even if it's treated with chemicals, is dumped downstream, I'm sure it will have an adverse effect on the fish, snails, frogs, insects, ducks, geese who live there, and the birds who find their food there. At this point, I am hoping that you will vote that this development should not happen. And I was also wondering about traffic studies, the DEC, environmental impact. You did mention that that has not been done at this point. Raw untreated sewage being dumped into wetlands, I just don't understand how that's going to not affect the people who live on that road. And as far as an adult community goes, I'm thinking that it's going to have some kind of an impact on both the town and the Goshen School District in some shape or form, which I don't hear anything, again, as someone mentioned, about the tax structure. And I'm going to give you a picture to keep.
Well, please do. Thank you very much. And someone else has some photographs. I don't know if you could make those available to our clerk for the record. Anybody from the public in the back? I will come back to you. Ma'am?
My name is Ilona Kegler. I live at 3322 Route 207, and this is my first time coming here, getting information. I want to know and have the developer or the architect to explain how on our notice it said 163 dwellings, and in actuality I heard him state 231 units. How did that change in a matter of like a week or two before, once I got this paper?
Yeah.
Well, first I'll answer your question, and I also would like our engineer to maybe explain a little further. Sure. My name is Susan Shapiro, and I live at 3301 Route 207. I'm your neighbor. I live here as well. I'm concerned about our community as well. And to explain the question you asked, is the way the town code works is that these are 1- and 2-bedroom apartments. They're not homes, as everyone keeps talking about, you know. I think the concept you're thinking of 3 or 4 bedroom homes. We're talking about 1 or 2 bedroom apartments. So the way Tom Ollie will explain further, but the code prorates a 1 bedroom home is, I believe,